A gorgeous sunny Sunday afternoon in Melbourne as we welcome you to our broadcast again. Geelong and Carlton. The Cats winning the toss through Cameron Ling, their acting skipper. They'll head to the left of screen to start. As I say, a very good afternoon and welcome to Fox Footy Sunday. Terry Wallace, you played along at home last week with the Digital Sports Active. Terry, you're here in the chair with us today. Welcome to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Clinton. Late call-up, and I was thinking, will I go to the football? But no, I was actually going to stay home and watch the Sports Digital Active again. It was so good last weekend.
Oh, thank you very much.
Favola, Morrell and Whitnell all starting up in the forward line for the Blues. It's a pretty impressive forward structure. If they can get the ball in quickly, they're going to kick a fair score here, the Blues.
Harley going alongside of Whitnell. We are underway at Optus Oval. French and Chambers the starting ruckman, and it's Chambers getting Geelong away early towards Playfair and Chapman at half forward. Houlihan was good last week, putting the early pressure on, ball near the boundary line, and helping it over for the Blues is Jordan Bannister. There were some question marks as to whether or not he would be playing today by way of injury. Was good on Pavlich last week, and he's running with Cameron Ling.
What's the footy, guys?
Ling's history against Carlton is such that he keeps getting plenty of the ball. From the boundary throw in, Norman over the top. They're going to see plenty of excitement. Their first home game, the Blues. Kelly getting the handball out. Riley's the man who's got the job on Camp earlier, at least started on him, and we'll have a bounce in the centre.
Different role for Cameron Ling today. He's now the hunted, whereas I guess for the last 2 or 3 years through midfield, Terry, he's been the hunter.
Well, I suppose that's the just his seniority that he now has. Also, Jordan Bannister's been doing those roles over the last few weeks very, very well.
Scramble following the bounce in the middle. This is Scotland. A free kick going to go the way of the Cats. Matt Stevick, Derek Woodcock and Darren Morris, our umpires. Joel Corey will take the free kick. Now a chance. Hunt, 55 out. Long towards the goal square. Kingsley the chance. And it's helped over for a boundary throw-in.
Pretty fair kick in, that one. It did favour Kingsley, and it could well have resulted in a grab, but they breathe again, the Blues.
Deep in attack. McCarthy tried to get the front spot. This is Norman. Cats have got the wall set up. There a chance. Maloney paddling it on. And again Maloney. Does well. Steadies. 55 out to the goal square. Drifting away. Just one behind. Brent Maloney, one of the newcomers after the Cats having to make 4 changes by way of injury. Matthew Lappin to bring it back into play. Crowd perhaps slightly disappointing around the 20,000 mark as Lappin targets a contest and Hunt climbs high to take the mark. Has Ling short. Ill-directed kick for him. Lappin out of defence. Now Scotland. We'll see how direct the Blues will be this afternoon. Early indication wide there for Whitnell. Harley. Kelly slipping on the lush turf. Gee, that was fortuitous from the Geelong perspective, and he finds Haynes.
Back here, please.
I think it was probably described by other words rather than fortuitous in the Blues' sense here.
Under some pressure, Norman being caught. Hume out of danger. Blues defence having to work hard early. And there'll be a boundary throw-in between wing and half forward as we say good afternoon, boundary side, Tiffany Cherry.
Yes, a very good afternoon. Great atmosphere down here. Very blustery conditions at the moment, favouring left of screen down towards the Legends stand. And great to see a couple of famous faces in Kathy Freeman and her boyfriend Joel Edgerton supporting the football.
Just to the Cats attacking side of the wing. Corey. Touched off the boot. Scramble. Working hard, wonderful pickup. Tenace, the first gamer. First kick and late footy. Oh, what a start! Their top pick in last year's national draft, Kane Tenace, swooping there. Bit early to say Chris Judd like Terry Wallace, but nonetheless it was impressive.
Well, you certainly can't ask for a better debut in AFL football than that. Of just explosive speed off the mark. He showed enormous form, I thought, in the Wizard Cup over a couple of weeks playing there. One thing with Geelong is they've played so many young players in the last couple of years. They haven't got that many unfamiliar faces apart from Tenace in their lineup. Most of the blokes you genuinely know.
Don't take lads.
Ruckman negated for one another. This is Prendergast being dragged out of it. French, good second effort there. Trying to get it to Johnson. Will have a second bounce in the centre.
Straight up, guys. Well done.
So some of those other matchups, Harley guarding Whitnall. No surprise with Scarlett alongside of Favola. And it's Mooney taking Morrell early on in that potent Carlton forward line, which they are keeping open. Fisher the only other man within 60 metres of their goal. French got a good hand to it. Ling read it well, though. Drives it deep to full forward. Carl Norman starting well.
Play on, play on.
Just his 9th senior game. To our broadcast side, Wiggins or Fisher at the back. Now Wiggins, good hands for Lappin. The run out of half-back, wobbly ball. French, was he pushed in the back? Blues fans say yes, umpire more importantly no. Harley with the hand pass out, Tenace dragged off it. That's in the back, surely. Whitnall wins the free.
Pleased to see Lance Whitnall playing up in the forward structure for Carlton. It just shows that they're going in with an attacking frame of mind.
No question about the contact as Whitnall drives to full forward and it lands in the arms of Fisher and he'll line it up from just inside the 50.
Saw this player impressed last year, Terry. Just he didn't get a lot of exposure last season, but he just did do some things last year that suggested he is a player that is going to be a slow developer. When he gets there, he's going to be very, very potent.
He had a couple of injuries, but when he did play, as you say, he was very good.
As good as directly in front. Touched. Favola at the top of the square. The tackle on Hunt. Blues still a chance. Riley without it. Hunt takes them on. Border gate style charging through. Will have a bounce. And right now Brad Fisher is saying, well, I could have done that a little better.
Well, as Tiffany mentioned, on this ground, having played all my football here, the left of the screen is definitely the advantage there end.
Looks like we'll have another bounce here.
Just if there's any breeze, it always blows to the left of the screen here. Scoring becomes hard going up to the right of screen, but you just got to keep the ball low like he tried to do then. Just a little bit too low that time was Fisher.
4 new faces for Carlton on the bench to start with. Now the Cats can look to clear through Harley. Out to space on the outer side. Becomes a foot race. Tenace is a very quick young man. Oh, look at that pickup. Boy, like what I see already, and we're 5 minutes in. Towards half forward. Teague with the pressure on Haynes. And it's out on the full Carlton free kick.
Yeah, Tenace really impressive, but as are Geelong, I think, Terry. They're settled pretty well, and they just look to be dominating through the middle of the ground, and so the Carlton forwards aren't getting that easy supply.
This is Prendergast out of defence. Going short over the head of Spawn. Could be costly. Corey is a good finisher. For Kelly, just drifts it into the pocket. Now caught between a couple of minds there. In rugby parlance, he finds touch. And that's probably the best result. Boundary throw in, Geelong deep in attack.
Yeah, just their start seems to have a nothing to lose mentality about it. You know, young players, go out, give it your best shot. Hey, if we think we've got some good young talent, let's put it on display.
You fancy their midfield going to have to contribute some goals today unless this man, Kingsley, can kick it back. And he has started with a rush kick for a behind, and he gives the umpire a serve as well. 1-2. The Cats, Carlton yet to score. Now Prendergast. Seeing plenty of it early. Kingsley will be eager for a big day. Another smother. Saw plenty of those at the Telstra Dome last night. Ling chips it into the pocket. Might have been intended for Hunt, who wasn't ready for it. Steadies, team first, centering ball. Chapman landed in his arms. Hurries a goal. Cats have got 2. Well, if you're coming out of defence and you're going short, you're going to have to be precise.
They almost chopped this one up, Terry, amazingly. It was a pretty smart kick from Cameron Ling, but it was this one that got a few people breathing a little bit quicker in the coach's box.
Yeah, Joshua Hunt just didn't really connect to it. Right idea to actually centre the ball up and square the ball up into the middle, but just a fumble there by Carlton. And the one player you don't want to end up with the ball is Paul Chapman. His kicking skills are exquisite. If you give him an opportunity, he'll make the most of it.
Averaged a goal a game last season, didn't miss a game, and he's given the Cats a 14-point lead. French and Chambers. Chambers gets it convincingly. Prendergast again. Long to full forward. This is where the Blues might win out. Whitnall. Well, good defensive work. Harley dragged it in, though. Given some leniency, we'll have a bounce. I guess the question mark will be, can Whitnall and Morrell work together and not spoil it for one another, dragging Mooney and Harley together. Whitnell getting it down. Camporelli hurries one towards the pocket. In front, Morrell. Eyes for the football. Takes the mark, but there's a free against Favola. Shepherded out, scarred illegally. The All-Australian fullback beneath the Carlton members in the Harris stand. And they're providing plenty of advice. Not too subtle about it as Harley goes to Kelly on the wing. Good start, Geelong. Kelly goes direct. Chapman charging out. Fist provided by Houlihan. Corey under pressure. Oh, good work, Cats. Haynes. About to be caught. Keeps going. Maloney. 55 out. Long to the square. Kingsley in a wrestle. Nearly. Not quite. Holding on. High tackle going to Carlton's way. Thornton will take it.
Carlton's way. Well,
it's fair to say there have been some baffling umpiring decisions this weekend so far. We won't start on the men in orange just yet, but if the trend of the weekend continues, it's fair to say they could improve. There's no doubt about that one. Fisher, Colin High.
Well, Geelong have really given Carlton something to think about here, really, Chair.
Brett Maloney, you would have played against Phil Stevens back in the old days in the 80s, even earlier for 70s. He looks a dead ringer for Phil Stevens.
He's got a bit about him, hasn't he?
Fisher's kick a poor one. Kelly takes the mark. Now Chapman covering some ground. Good vision. Haynes at centre half forward. Couldn't get to the contest. Camporelli wears that one but hangs onto the footing. Ignored by the umpires by way of the Brownlow last year. Camporelli didn't pick up a vote. French. Now Camporelli. Loose man out wide. Chance for Scotland, the former Magpie. Played in all three finals games for the Pies last year. Good delivery from Morrell. That's better. Good spacing, he and Whitnell. Now the important one. Will they enter inside 50 or square it up? He might target French at centre half forward. He does. And the former power ruckman takes the mark. Too far out to score your fancy. Lays it off for Camporelli. Goes short. Good kick. And Fisher will not be close to the man on the mark this time.
Well, it was a good block as well there. James Rowley's going with Camporelli. Was right on his hammer, but as you sort of see that they were able to get Barnaby French was just able to get his big body in the way and not allow James Rowley to be able to go with him. It was a good play.
Fisher to make amends. Stuttering approach. Gee, went close again, didn't he? And he's pushed it out to the right for a behind. A rueful shake of the head, and why not? He's had a couple of chances. Carlton are on the board. Took 12 minutes.
Been that sort of weekend for goal kicking, Terry. We had the West Coast chop up their chance yesterday. The Bulldogs did likewise. And some individuals with some work to do during the week.
We'll talk about that at halftime in our weekend wrap here on Fox Footy as the Blues win it following the kick in. Brett Johnson long to the hot spot. Favola in a pack. Cameron Lee.
Play on. Still more.
Taking the mark. Game number 67, and he's the Cats captain today. Harley for Kelly. On the half volley, Wiggins wearing him well. Harley for Chapman. Chapman seeing plenty of it early. Good ball. Maloney.
Don't hold it. Clear it out. That's it. Stay there. Stay there.
Waiting. Just pops it up. Kingsley coming out. In a wrestle with Thornton. Thornton good spoil. Teague. Lappin. Thornton. Under the pump. Corey good tackle. Play on the call. We'll have a bounce.
Ease it up now.
Interesting move, Terry, that Cameron Ling looks like he's been pushed into defence and currently lining up at centre half back for them and picking up a couple of possessions.
Norman down to Houlihan. Can he try and break a line here? Scotland. Might elect to go long and wide to that outer side. Gee, it's a well-weighted kick. Now Bannister. Centering ball, Humer's on. Better build up Blues. Hume's kick, though, is partially smothered. Won't reach Favola. He comes charging out, wins a free. Might be advantage play on. It is. Bannister targets Fisher at full forward. Enright knocking it down. Camporelli the tackle. Enright again. Cats turn to be under some pressure. Favola throwing around Spriggs like he's a rag doll and gives away a free.
I think the idea with that Cameron Ling scenario is just basically what it does is gives Geelong a 7-man backline, clogs up the Carlton end because they know that Bannister will go with Ling everywhere.
Rook backed himself to run away and did well. Finds Maloney at centre half back. Maloney was impressive late last season as he played his first 8 matches in AFL footy. This is Prendergast out of defence. Here he is again, Maloney, originally out of South Warrnambool and the Geelong Falcons, feeding Raleigh. Going wide, in space, Corey. On the lead, Kingsley, got it. Early indications are they'll be funneling it through Kent Kingsley, matched up against Brett Thornton today.
Is pace a worry at the moment for Carlton, Terry? It just looks like Geelong have got their measure in that area.
Yeah, it's an extreme worry, but as we saw in the Western Bulldogs Collingwood game yesterday, that pace wears off after the game sort of settles down. Then it'll be a bit more body strength in the midfield.
Kingsley kicked 2 goals against the Saints last week. Had just before touches. Pivotal year for he, the last of his current contract. Will kick from just on the 50. The breeze helping it across goal, and it's out of bounds on the 4 as McCarthy takes a spectacular, albeit irrelevant mark. Big weekends for the forwards. Neitz with 9, Rawlings with 3 goals, 7. And the Blues unable to transfer it out of defence with any greater surety, and will have a boundary throw-in.
Big difference, Clinton, between 9 goals 1 and 3 goals 7, isn't it?
Isn't it? And had it been, well, 7-3 for Rawlings instead of 3-7, Bulldogs, I know it's simplistic to say it, could well have been enjoying their Sunday today. Maloney under pressure from Johnson. Brett Johnson goes quickly to Whitnell. That was a good kick, and Lance doesn't let him down. Now they can go to that open forward line, charging out Morrell. Good ball to him as well. Scotland to half forward. Clark, the former Cat, under pressure. Kelly, good tackle. And we'll have a bounce. And there's a little bit of feeling between Clark and the Cats. Keep an eye on that one today on Sports Active.
It always seems to happen when teammates come up against each other. They just test each other out.
Blues need something here. Prendergast into space. Cats fill it. Keller about to be caught. Was caught high.
Bring it back. Would he go down?
And it was Clark saying right back at you.
Yours.
Kelly for Henry Playfair. Now the skipper acting for Sanderson, who was acting for King. Towards half forward. Oh, caught in the sunshine perhaps there, Joel Corey. And we'll have a boundary throw.
It was still a good build-up by Geelong. Kelly's had an enormous start to this game. 9
possessions already.
Joel Corey also with 5. He's being tagged by Prendergast.
Always dangerous to take it from the boundary throw-in. Okay for the Cats on that occasion. Initially through Rook. Winning the ball was Teague for the Blues. Wide near the boundary. The bounce important. Harley read it very well. Now Raleigh has Enright short. Goes to him. Barely the required 15. Enright now, loose men in the middle. Goes to Haynes. Takes it on the bounce. This is good build-up. Kingsley's got space. Leads into it against Thornton again. And there's a free kick going Kingsley's way. He'll have a 3rd shot at goal in this opening term. Are you worried yet by that matchup?
Well, not so much that matchup. I'm more worried about what's happening in midfield, because the flow into the forward line is such that Geelong could have had 5 goals by now. We know Fisher missed 1, possibly 2 that he could have kicked at the other end, but outside of those shots, they just haven't looked like it, Carlton. This is probably the most unimpressive start that Carlton could have produced.
Absolutely. They're playing defensively. The Geelong players are the ones that are actually flowing offensively through the lines.
So for Kingsley and the Cats, it's time to convert, and he does. A worrying start for the Blues. We've played 18 minutes, 6 remaining. Dennis Pagan on the phone. The margin is 19 points.
Well, coming in, Terry, I really thought that Carlton would just have too many experienced players, but just having a look at the midfield setup of the Cats, if they continue to dominate, maybe the forward line set up for the Blues just won't have a chance to activate.
Well, we just, they've just had quality players right across, whether it be Cameron Ling or Kelly's been very good. That last build-up, Haynes, has been a very good player for him since coming across from the West Coast Eagles.
Again, the ruckmen nullify one another. Chapman for Ling, hurries it out wide. Maloney has started impressively. Johnson harassing him, holding on, no free kick. Clark of the Blues now finds an opening. Targets Morrell, he's got the sit. Cannoned into Mooney, couldn't leap over him. Chapman to ground. Paddling it on Spawn, well done. Scotland, quick hands. Camporelli to the goal square. Favola and Scarlett. Favola! He'll be eager for a big game today, Brendan.
Well, you've just got to get your good players to link up. And I guess on that occasion we saw Whitnell come into the action, Camporelli as well, and it finishes with Favola. And speaking of good players, Daniel Harford coming onto the ground. Just need to, they look as if they need a little bit more class out in the ground, Carl.
Just like to see players like Scotland and Camporelli actually winning the ball centre forward rather than in the defensive part of the ground as they did that time around.
One of the 6 genuine A-graders in the Blues team that Jared wrote about in the Herald Sun last week. Brendan Favola.
Thank you very much.
To try and kick Carlton's first. We've entered time on of this opening term. To the Heatley stand end. It's true. Favola's got his first. Carlton are on the board with a badly needed major.
Well, if we do consider that the advantaged end is to Geelong's way, they haven't really put their ascendancy on the scoreboard up until this stage of the game. I think they've been clearly the best side in this first quarter, yet they've only got a 13-point margin. I think that would be probably evened out with this breeze advantage that we expect to be Carlton's way in the next quarter.
Brendan Favola and Matthew Scarlett, a couple of the characters of the AFL. Aaron Hamill's another. He'll be with Jared, Mike and Robert on the couch tomorrow night from 8:30 here on Fox Footy. French and Playfair now. Playfair got a hand to it. Johnson, haven't been any legitimate centre clearances from that opening bounce. Now the Blues will win something through Clark. A high tackle for Camporelli for Scotland. This is better. Scotland with his 7th touch in this opening term coming up. Elects to go wide. Favola on a very long lead. Mooney over the top with the mark.
Stay there.
He really has settled in this position, Cameron Mooney. He looks a fine player, much better than when he was across half forward.
Target is Haynes, punched away by Scotland for a boundary throw-in.
There's no doubt he loves a physical challenge, and I think the backline positions allowed him just to go one-on-one with his direct opponent and just have that sort of arm wrestle with his opponent every time, and he seems to be really enjoying it.
Carlton winning just 4 games last year, 3 the year before, trying to elicit their first this year. And now they're working their way on top in the midfield for a moment as Lappin drives them inside 50. Foot race, Wiggins quick, Spriggs quickest of the Cats. Morell at the back, about to be caught. Lays the handball to Spawn for Favola, quick hands. Brendan finds an opening, hooks it, goal! Hits the post.
Well, at least they've found their spark, the Blues. I think it was 5 seconds after we just started saying how poorly they'd started. They have found the ignition and they've responded accordingly.
It's woken up the Carlton faithful a little bit.
Yeah, a bit of voice starting to come across the George Harris stand.
Brian Cook said the Cats had 200 emails in the office on Monday morning last week after their poor effort against the Saints. I wonder whether Collar was thinking the same thing might be arriving at Optus, and the early trend here continued, but the Blues, no question, have lifted, and now Spawn will drive them into a momentary crowded forward line. Still a little bit of room, though, for Fisher to Whitnell. Lands, good vision. Harford, kick it, Daniel. 45 out, hooks it.
You've got to be within 5 minutes.
He'll say he should have done better.
They probably should have done better, but it just showed the ball did hold up down that end, and so it might be difficult scoring goals down that way.
Mooney going short for Kelly. Oh, could be costly. Camporelli hovering over it. Fisher a chance. Gets bumped off it. Harford puts his body on the line. Does he win a free? No. We'll have a bounce.
Come on, guys, let's go. Good tackle. Easy, don't do anything stupid. Scotty, mate.
And James Kelly breathes a sigh of relief.
I'm watching it. Eyes up.
Playfair to space. Carlton with a sense of confidence now. Ooh, tied up, going nowhere, Bannister.
And I think we'll see a game of momentum. Neither side has got enough good players to sustain great momentum throughout a quarter. So right now it's Carlton with the foot on the floor.
Oh, French, impressive. Centering to the hot spot. Mooney backed himself, did well. And now they're going to have an open field if they can gather this ball. It's Tenace, the first gamer. Well done. Steadies, looks upfield, drives it long. Johnson and McCarthy the targets. Carl Norman liked his game so far down back, boundary thrower.
Well, you might have liked his game. I've loved the way that Kane Tenacious started. He's just very low to the ground when he runs, got a lot of polish about the way he plays his football.
Just 18 years of age, another of the Cats to come via Shepparton, their skipper, Stephen King, originally out of that area. Lappin, clever, French goes without it. Good pick up Johnson of the Cats, dumped. Ball held in there, will have a bounce. That's David Johnson, brother of Essendon's Mark, who was one of the Bombers injured last night at the Telstra Dome in that taxing loss for the Bombers. Coming up on 2 minutes remaining in the opening term. Harford brought down by the hard nut Chapman. Johnson wins it free. Might be advantage play on. No, coming back. Might have been advantage for Carlton, but the call had been made by Matt Stevick.
Well, they have settled now, the Blues. I just thought early in the match it was Geelong that was winning all the 50-50 ball. Now Carlton start to even up that.
Blues have won the last 2 matches at this ground between the 2 clubs. Overall, the Cats winning 7 of the last 10. Did play that thriller at the Telstra Dome, which was decided by a late and controversial Riccardi goal as Fisher finds Harford on the wing. Spawn running. Can they get a mark for Vola and Scarlett? Yes. Well, if he kicks the goal, you say it's a points decision for Vola in the opening term.
He started very well. The other one, Harford's contribution since coming off the interchange bench, Jared's been very good.
Just not sure about this wind factor, Terry. We'll have a look at this one, but he's so close to the grandstand. I would have thought there was a bit of protection, but certainly Harford's one. He got the helicopter onto it. Whether or not it was because of the foot or the wind, I think this kick will give us some sort of guide.
You can hear the breeze occasionally gusting up into our effects and umpires' microphones. Important late kick this. They'd be happy to be only 5 points down after the Cats dominated early. Favola for his second. Wonderful kick. Favola's got 2 minutes remaining.
Well, I think, Jared, if you strike them well enough, you're going to be able to kick them any way that you like. But all I'd suggest is that just knowing the ground, and when there is a little bit of breeze around, as the game goes on, it does incline to pick up towards that way. So, look, I still think the Carlton will be fairly happy with the way they've worked their way back into this game.
Yeah, they have, and wasn't it just after a weekend of horror kicks, it was great to see a pure drop of the football onto the boot.
Another one that we'll be talking about at half-time here on Fox Footy and Jared's weekend wrap. And again, neither ruckman convincingly out of the middle, but Kelly took them on, as does Haynes. Breaks away, drives it towards Kingsley, won't reach him. Here's Norman. Now T, down to 40 seconds, goes short. Kenner, smallest man in the league is Stephen Kenner. Kicks to midfield for Morrell. Well, half of the man in front wasn't going to concede. Camporelli's 9th possession. High one towards Whitnall. Free kick going Carlton's way. Lance Whitnall will kick from just on the 50 with 24 seconds remaining.
Just let him run. 2 hands in the back.
Another view. Enright with a subtle nudge.
And the umpire in perfect position.
Clock will be rolling now. Whitnall pondering a shot at goal here. 3 times a Carlton leading goal kicker. Just 11 last year, playing the 12 matches. This for his first this year. Hooking late. Will it be a score? Off hands, one behind. Second remaining, siren looming, and it's a ball game on Fox Footy. Don't turn it over here, Cats. Enright for Tenacious. Well, I reckon Carlton fans won't be all that unhappy now, given the way the match was unfolding.
Oh, I think no doubt that the Carlton supporters should be quite confident with the way their team fought back into that game. And I thought Daniel Harford coming off the interchange bench really gave them some drive. They had other great players as well.
Our digital sports active viewers can keep watching what's happening here. For everyone else, we'll take a break. Be back in a moment. Quarter time, Cats by 4 points.
on.
With how many players Geelong had out of their lineup at the start of the game, it was very, very important for them to get off to the sort of start that they did. And they really set the standard early in the match. Just probably missed a few targets, as they've been known to do, a little bit going inside 50. It'll be an interesting quarter.
Second quarter at Optus Oval with James Bartell among the Cats in the first 4. They get the clearance through Corey. High one towards full forward. Haynes the target, wrestled out of it by Wiggins. Norman takes them on, dumped by Kelly. Good work, Wiggins. Got it to Houlihan. Now we'll switch it back to our broadcast side. A well-weighted ball. And Lappin drives to centre half back. Kick too much carry for Camporelli. Hunt to take on Harford. For Chapman. 50 out to the Heatley stand in. Hooks the kick. Behind.
All clear. Easy, guys. Easy. Thanks, guys. Easy, kids.
Well, an opportunity you'd expect Paul Chapman to normally kick with his excellent kicking skills.
Lappin to bring it back into play. Is this where Lappin's going to play the bulk of the season? Sweeping across the half-back line, Terry?
Seems to be the role that he's been set by Dennis Pagan. I still like him as a forward. I think he's just very handy up that end of the ground.
Yeah, he's got that capacity to kick goals. The dangerous element about him as Corey gets it from Raleigh. Bartell. First possession today. Towards half forward. Good mark by Kelly. He's been impressive. To the pocket. Good kick. Kingsley marks. Tight angle though. Looking at his options.
Well, they've just got to get more out of James Bartell. He's pushing into the corridor to try and get on the end of that one. Opened up some space. It's just one possession for a player of his ability, Terry. Just it's not quite good enough at this level.
Carlton fans thought Kingsley was off. That's the view he's got. Coming back, not enough. One behind, 1 goal, 2 and 1 out of bounds. Kent Kingsley's return. 3-4, plays 2-4.
Spot on, that's right.
Well, again, just as the first quarter, they've set the standard early in the quarter, just getting first use of the ball.
Ryan Houlihan now with the kick-in duties. Had 26 touches at Subiaco last week. Won't be assessed a stat for the kick-in as he finds Wiggins near the players' race.
It's interesting that Bomber Thompson has elected to stabilise his defence. He's got probably as good a defence as he could muster at the moment. He's backing his midfield and his forward line to create where they haven't been creating earlier.
Inopportune slip from Haynes opens the door for Spawn. His hurried kick though cut off by Chambers.
Just the other side of the sign, just on the edge there. Play on.
Geelong, a club that has been built from the back line up under Thompson, as Bartell now getting involved. To Nace. Up to half forward. Kingsley buffeted it off it. This is Teague. Knew the hit was coming. Got it to Norman. Does well. Houlihan. Gets by Chapman. Look out. Harford was coming to provide the Shepherd. In the end gets the footing. Goes down the corridor with an ill-directed kick. And Corey emerges. Now Cameron Lee. Short and wide for Maloney. He'll also go short. Who is on James Kelly? This will be possession number 12.
Up here. Just there.
Bit one-dimensional though, Clinton. They're just looking for one man only. And, I think it's going to hurt them unless they can find another.
At the moment, this is not a preview of a September attraction. Tenace. Finding an opening. We know he's quick. Ill-directed here. All Carlton. French filling the gap.
Depends on how early you get to the matches in September.
Camporelli. Morrell, this is better. Now they can run. Lappin, going deep. Wobbly, floating kick. Mooney, uncontested. Parler, out wide. This is Rook. Got Chambers appealing for it. Finds him. Chambers will lay the handball to the running Cameron Ling. Closing fast. Kicking long. McCarthy, French, they all go to ground. Drop the hanky there. Who will emerge? Teague, tackled. Got it out. Blues still under the pump. Houlihan for Scotland. In fact, it was Thornton. Now Scotland. Just going wide to the boundary line. Good kick.
Just like to see the tall players, Matt McCarthy, just start right on the goal line and try to stay at home within 20 or 30 metres. Go deep to him so that they can get some sort of structure in place.
Straight at it.
French for Harford without it. Maloney, Tenace, working his way into it. Carried the footy there a little bit longer than a lot of first gamers do, eager to get rid of it. Houlihan does well. Nice little pirouette. Camporelli backed himself. The veteran down the middle. Towards Whitnell, read it very well. Knew the nuances of the breeze. Kicks to Favola, charging out. Dives, knocks it down. Skull and toe poke effective. Morrell puts his body on the line. Gives it out for Kenner. Too far to score. Spawn for Clark. Enright, the man to beat. Can Clark get away? His leg. Advantage. Play on. No, it's coming back. In fact, it'll be downfield. This will result in a shot at goal. The question mark will be who will be the man to take it. And we'll wait and see. From a Carlton perspective, Bannister might be the man to come back. No, Lance Whitnell. Gee, that's a good break for the Blues. Here's another look at Clark getting away from Enright. There's the whistle for the trip. He got away, and then Hunt coming in late. Unnecessary. And Whitnell deemed the man closest to the action, the beneficiary.
Well, both Brendan Favola and Lance Whitnell ran about 40 metres to try to get hold of the kick. And look, if you're a key forward, that's exactly what you should be doing. Take the responsibility as a genuine key forward on yourself.
Whitnell now, possession number 6 coming up today, and a chance for his first goal. And the scores are level. Whitnell's got his first, and the Blues have got the last 3.
Well, it was against the run of play, the Blues goal. Really, Geelong have had the ball up in their forward 50 about half a dozen times in this quarter, and they just haven't been able to find the goal sticks. And yet one rebound through Camporelli, not being tackled correctly where Corey should have really just buried him, has allowed them to get the first goal on the board.
I really like Dennis Pagan's use of Ryan Houlihan off a half-back flank. I reckon it might actually make some consistency into his game. I think he really looks good coming through that area of the ground.
You think of him as being older than just 22, Ryan Houlihan, already game number 78, and in this team, bordering on veteran status as Corey gets his second centre clearance for the turn. Teague, discipline there. Dennis will like that. And chasing down Gardner, applying the tackle and forcing a bounce. Well done.
No chance. Thanks, guys. Good tackle, locked it up. You didn't have a chance.
Taking a bit of a punt on Teague also. The height imbalance between Teague and McCarthy is quite a large one. Teague killing him at ground level.
French for Teague, kick smothered. French, second effort, Scotland. Camporelli, Blues, searching for their first lead of the afternoon. To half forward, one grab for Lance, not the second. Harley wearing him well. Makes it a foot race towards the broadcast wing, and Kenner is quick. Gave up a metre on the start, closing on Rook, does well. I don't like him. Oh, was that high? No. Oh, great stuff, Lappin to Houlihan, all the way from defence. Keep on running, lines it up, goes for home. No, elects to centre it. Fisher, no free kick. Oh, they'll be feral now. They reckon they're getting a raw deal as the Cats run it away through Raleigh towards Chambers.
There we go, play on!
It was almost a case of two 50-50s make a hole by way of free kicks. They didn't come. Raleigh towards Chapman. Wiggins.
Play on!
Now Scotland. Entertaining, if not fluent, contest. Now they've got the free.
Reporting it for striking.
And report Maloney's in the book.
Stay in, Scotty! Scott!
Maloney's in the book. Let's have a look at how it unfolded. A little bit of push and shove continuing as Clark is the man checking for damage. Scotland was there. That was the build-up to it, and that was the end result. A left elbow from Maloney to Clark.
Well, Clark's been the man most of the afternoon, hasn't he?
And I mentioned that he had some words after he left Geelong, and the Cat players in the off-season had mentioned that they look forward to playing Carlton and Clark the first time. Ling with the handball, and it's over the boundary line for a throw in.
What was inspiring, though, I think, for Carlton was the chase of Kenner, and he has just been taken off the ground. It was a total commitment. And for him to be able to just neutralise two players really lifted the Blues, and the crowd got behind him.
Bannister, Scotland, tackled by Corey, who ferrets it out. Kelly. Gill, touch of the fumble, Spriggs.
It's out, play on.
Not a day that you can afford to fumble because there are plenty of big hits. Hunt working his way to the wing, kicking to half forward. Kingsley, good pickup, besieged. Held in there.
Dennis Pay going to be very happy with this last 5 minutes. Just his players are really tackling hard, committing their bodies.
And Wiggins with some claret from a cut on the right eye, making his way off through the blood rule, so there'll be a delay. Some of the blood spilling onto Kent Kingsley, so he'll change his jumper and we'll have a pause here at Optus Oval.
I think up in the Carlton goal square they've pushed, sorry, in the Geelong goal square they've pushed Mooney. So they have tried to get another option up in that forward line. Mooney had settled pretty well in the defensive area though, so
it's one of those that you rob one area of the ground to open up the other area at times.
maybe we can find out why he's done that as Kingsley comes from the ground.
And the rankings, a convoluted statistical formula showing that James Kelly's the best man on the ground right now. He's had 14 possessions.
Let's go. Watch the footy. Watch the footy.
We'll get down and see Tiff to see if there is an injury. Look, by the amount of people swarming around him, I think that may be the case.
Corey dumped by Camporelli. We'll have another bounce.
Well, if you're sitting there with the opportunity at home to have a look at your wide vision, I'd have a look at the Carlton end of the ground in comparison to the Geelong end of the ground. Just the difference between the lineups of the two ends. Probably 6 pairs inside Geelong's 50 and no one at Carlton's.
French hurrying it forward. Tenace in front. Gee, what an impressive debut. Sensing Rising Star nomination coming up already. Lays it off for Spriggs.
Still me.
To half forward for Kelly. That's what Geelong need, the young name standing up. How about that passage? Tenace, Spriggs, Kelly, Bartel. There's the future of the Geelong Football Club in one little vignette.
Well, in Philly, handy hands if young Tenace is any indication. He's had an absolutely stellar start to this game.
Bartel with a shot at goal from 45 metres out. On its way, close. It's a very good kick, but not good enough. Jared, you're giving me the indication it's a behind.
Yes, well, I thought it was a goal, I've got to say, but from this angle, Terry...
And there's not one Cats supporter in the Heatley stand who was going to help the goal umpire.
I thought she was a big one.
He had me.
Let's go down to Tiff with an update on Wiggins. Tiff?
No stitches for Wiggins. They're just taping it up, but also Chapman's just come off and they're checking his rib cage, it looks like, so he's in a little bit of pain.
And Kingsley?
And Kingsley's fine, he's just changed his top.
Carlton sweep it forward. T to Whitnell. Good use of the body. Doubles back. Caught. Handballs to space. Geelong there in numbers. Raleigh had to be quick, was. Gee, good tackle, Morrell. Raleigh again. And a loose man on Scarlett. Defensive goal square. Releases Hunt wide to the outer side. Has Ling on. Elects to go further. Good kick, good option. Johnson. Has Playfair directing traffic. Johnson. Feeds the hand pass off wide. Haynes caught. Play on the call. Spriggs. 55 out to the pocket. Kelly elects to play on. In fact, was touched off the boot. That kick won't be 15. Won't be 15. Got to get it on. They do. Norman. Camporelli. Gee, it's an intense contest now, isn't it? Camporelli searching for options downfield. Goes to the wing. Good ball, Scotland. Keep it moving. Keep it moving, Heath. Lead on by Morrell. Scotland taking his time. The options drying up. Has to go short for Hume.
Just there it is, play on.
Kicks to centre half forward. Favola coming out. Oh, well done. Left it to Fisher. And Scarlett and Favola. Oh, he's given away 50. Certain goal, Carlton. Matthew Scarlett is having a trying start to the season. Fraser Gehrig 7 last week. Favola 2 already, and now he's given away 50, which will result in a Brad Fisher goal and a Carlton lead.
Well, I'm not sure, Jared, what he's actually remonstrating about, but regardless of what it was, you just can't afford to be giving away opportunities like that.
No, I didn't see it at all, Terry, so it wasn't anything dramatic. It was only minor, but in front of the men in orange, that's all it needs.
Brad Fisher, pleasing collar, didn't kick the footy out of the ground, costing the club another $100. He just popped it into the legend stand, and the Blues lead by 5 points, and they are in front for the first time. Another look at it.
Well, if we're worried about just that minor contact to Harley, he's going to be worrying about a lot of things throughout this AFL season. It was just poor play. You can't afford to be giving away opportunities like that. It's been such an even game. Probably the momentum was actually with Geelong over the last 10 minutes or so.
They've got 2 against the flow of play. Geelong working very hard to get it in there and then just not converting, and Carlton just snipping their pocket.
Former VFL ruckman DeLuca in the middle now for the Blues. Hume away, off to the races, goes deep to the pocket for Morrell. Going to go to Scotland. Scotland appealing for it, perhaps not sure why. Oh, he's tackled the mark. 45 out left half forward.
Back here, Josh, please.
We really can play this fella. I think a lot of people judged him on his exposure at Collingwood, which was limited, but you talk to people like a Tony Shaw who have seen him develop right through his underage, and they believe that there is a hell of a lot more upside to this bloke than we've seen.
If he kicks the goal here as the Blues watch on, bandaged, taped up, Geelong will be very worried. This for 5 consecutive Carlton goals. 45 out. Close, hooked it, a let off. And we wonder, should Digby have had the shot? Hunt to bring it back into play. Stakes are huge for these two clubs.
That's it there now. That's it.
We will reinforce that throughout the afternoon. This is a game that neither coach wants to lose today. They don't want to lose any game, but this is a game they're almost expected to win. Hunt to Harley, stolen by Favola. Here's a chance. Fisher, Hume, 45 out, goes for it, and got it! 5 in a row for Carlton. And the buzzer's back at Optus Oval.
Playing a pretty low percentage game when you blast one down the middle of the ground. A short pass indeed, and Tom Harley just puts the one hand up. Was just out of his reach. You go up the middle and you get a turnover, the likelihood of a goal goes up 100%.
Yeah, Darren Hume is just one of those players as well who is what I would call a spark player. Just this type of player that can just have 2 or 3 actions in a quarter and really lift his side, and that was a terrific goal by him.
Margin 12 points now. Playfair building the Cats forward. And here he is again. And a burst from Hume once more. Fisher, Kenner, rowing. Look at Kenner. Boy, he's quick. Going to Storm next week, I wonder. Haynes. Johnson marks at midfield. Elects to take Playfair's option. Scott Bartell drifting forward. Well held up, though, by Clark. Elects to take the Bartell option. Now to the pocket, 2-on-2, Kelly.
Well, he's got an enormous amount of talent, this bloke. It's good to see him up and near the goals. They're going to have to find somebody capable of kicking 4 or 5 goals today if they're to win Geelong. And at the moment, it doesn't look likely to be there. Hunter, Kingsley, I should say, or Mooney.
Kelly lining up for his first. And a badly needed one for Geelong. It was never a chance. Clear. 5-5 plays 3-6. 8 minutes remaining before half-time here on Fox Footy. Hume. Well, neither club have been convincing from their kick-ins, have they? Johnson, stalked by Hume. Well, that was clever. Perhaps not the way he intended it, but gets into the goal square where Mooney's kick is touched. He has a few choice words for the goal umpire, but the decision will stand. A calamitous kick. And he's still having a go. Glad we don't wire up the players.
It always amazes me when you mark the ball so close to the line. You're only going to kick the ball 4 or 5 yards. Why don't you go back and just have your kick?
Clark to midfield. Whitnell wins a free.
Stay there and play on.
Drives it to Favola and Scarlett. Good duel unfolding there, engrossing. Haynes Stilling on halfback's got some space. Got Kelly, in fact Tenace leading on the wing. Tenace takes it. Closes, poor kick. Houlihan, they will rebound.
Take it, Matty.
Where's he going to go? Towards Morrell. And gone.
Oh, that's a full kick.
Should be holding the ball, isn't. Fisher tied up, a bounce.
You just can't explain how an umpire can get a decision like that so wrong. I mean, he's had his opportunity because he plays on.
He's taken 4 steps and didn't dispose of the ball.
It is everyone in the ground, you except for the umpire.
We'll name him. Matt Stebbing. Error.
Look for him at a country ground near you next week.
Cameron Lean kicks it out on the full.
Just starting to unravel a little bit here for Geelong, which is a bit unfortunate because they've worked very hard, but a couple of basic skill errors from senior players, and it just sends that wrong message around the ground, and it's one that the Blues will pick up on pretty quickly.
Tiff hands the footy back to Matty Lappin, who kicks towards Clark at half forward, off hands, boundary throw.
To the fact that they've only been able to score 3 goals in nearly 2 quarters of football, they can't afford to get any further behind in this game. They've just really got to try to hang on, even try to get one back against the flow here before half-time.
Always shaping as being a difficult day for scoring by nature of the respective skill levels of the club and the fluky breeze here at Optus Oval and the pressure. Scotland from 45 to the hot spot. Favola's got many to beat. He's given away a free.
Okay, over the shoulder. Just there, Brendan, where you
They
are.
are volatile characters, Favola and Scarlett. Corey's the man winning the free. Favola was saying Scarlett had a piece of my jumper. The former Eagle is Haynes for Bartel.
Play up yours.
Inside of 6 minutes. Johnson led Camporelli underneath it. Norman to Favola.
Play on.
Now he's going to go to centre half forward. Morrell.
You take the mark.
Go back and have a shot. The breeze will come from over his right shoulder.
They've just got more method in their forward line, Jared, when they go forward, Carlton. When it goes into the Geelong forward line, you just don't know who's going to step up or what's actually happening. They don't seem to have anywhere near the direction that the Carlton forward structure's got.
Lance, right out, thank you.
This man, Jared, listed as your major wild card for the Blues
Thank you.
last week in the paper.
Well, I've seen his best, and his best is exciting. I've also seen his average, and his average just over the journey, 40-odd games, has just not been good enough. He's only averaged about 1.1 goals per game. As a forward, he's got to do better than that, but he's a good kick. But not this time.
Out to the right.
Terry, just making the point again, I won't labour it too many more times, but you look at the way Geelong are playing, they're down now. Cameron Ling has had 10 possessions, so he's playing a role through middle, but he's not being damaging.
He's not hurting it today, is he?
Put him up in the goal square. He's a talented player, he's a general.
Well, we all know that he's played forward line role as a young player as well.
I think what Bomber Thompson is trying to do is create somebody to find a goal. Well, you know that Cameron Lee knows how to kick goals. He did it innately as a kid right throughout his junior days, whereas perhaps somebody like a Mooney, you know, he's clearly more suited to defence than forward.
And he's got the persona of a bloke who wants to step up and do something for his side as well.
Play fair from the boundary throw-in. If you take them on, you've got to get rid of it. He's pinged. Advantage, play on. Bannister, Houlihan. Now Scotland, room to work with. On the gather, on the left, towards the pocket. Ill-directed, Morrell under enormous pressure. A couple of cats collide.
Oh, well done.
Rook got 9 lives.
Rook did very well there, summed it up well and shepherded it out.
Enright, Johnson, Raleigh, Scarlett, Bartel. Scarlett again. Chain of handballs. In fact, Spriggs it was in there. Now Haynes, he's off. He's off. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Straight away, give it to him.
No question about it. And he heard his reaction.
Just another one of those little errors that is just creeping in. They're just getting really ragged at the moment, the Cats.
Standing by to head down with Tiff. You nearly get a touch again, Tiff.
Oh, nearly. Good news for Geelong. Chapman's back on after he got a knock in the ribs, but not good news for Darren Hume. Looks like he's got a right quad quirky, so he may not be able to come back on.
And keep an eye on Scotland, Tiff. He's coming to you now, limping off with the trainers, so that could be a bad blow for the Blues because he's won 13 possessions so far today. A scramble here. Oh, gee whiz. I won't comment. A plate for a replay. My eyes might have deceived me. Lappin to Spawn, had to wait, takes the mark, Johnson running, Blues away, Johnson got forwards leading, kicking long, Favola to go, one hand, Morrell, Camporelli there as well, Harley dragged down, Chapman, good hands, Gardner, now they can go, Rook, Johnson, down the middle for Mooney. That line experimentation lasted a week, a quarter and a half, and that was all. Kingsley held illegally by Thornton.
Straight away.
Inside of 3 minutes, the Cats with a goalless quarter so far.
Again, showing just how difficult it is to score up that end of the ground.
Yep. Kingsley today, 1 goal, 2 and 1 out of bounds from his shots at goal. He's 55 out, unloads long. Across the face, another behind.
All clear.
You can see how much distance he carried, and that's where Favola kicked his goal from earlier. If you're going to kick goals down that end, that's the side of the ground that you've got to kick them from.
Blues bring it back into play with Teague. If you're watching our digital sports active coverage, you can see the Carlton bench. We'll have a report on Scotland in just a moment as the Blues bring it out through Prendergast, Morrell.
He's lifted this quarter. He's just got to finish his work now.
Good kick. Camporelli directly in front, 45 out. And this kick, Terry, 2 minutes from half-time, a goal here for Carlton, and they open up a very handy 16-point lead.
And it's just the ability of Geelong as well with their confidence. Confidence is obviously going to be rocked when you know you're going in with 6, 7, 8 players, senior players out of your lineup. If you get a good start, you're in the game at half-time, well, you're a real chance, but geez, it really will test their confidence if he can kick this goal.
Camporelli, 18 goals last season for his first today, and this year he's got it! Oh, they love him at Optus Oval. Carlton have kicked the last 6 in the match now, and the margin is 16 points, 27 minutes gone in the second term.
But it was interesting because Camporelli led out from full forward, and that's a sort of multi-dimensional forward line. When you've got limitations in talent, you've got to be prepared to throw them around a little bit.
Well, they're your senior players, Jared, aren't they? And your senior players will step up and give you something if given that opportunity.
Tiff, talk to us about the Blues' injuries.
Well, Hume has come on, but clearly not 100% fit and a fair bit of discomfort. But it looks like that Scotland has rolled his right ankle. They're just taping it up, so possibly expect him to come back on. Yeah, it was a terrific replay from our Fox Footy guys here, Tiff, which we've just had a look at for that injury. Closing in on half-time. Important stage here. Cats with a goalless quarter, but rushing it forward. Bartel, downfield. Kingsley's got it anyway. Hume with an explicit reaction to Derek Woodcock. Obviously, whistling in harmony was last week.
This is a tough shot. This is probably the most difficult pocket on the ground to kick scores from, so very, very important one.
They've had 3 goes in this exact pocket this quarter. We thought one had snuck through, but the goal umpire didn't think so. I don't think they've been that bad, the Cats. They just haven't been able to get this last kick through.
Inside 50s, they've been inside 50 once more than Carlton for the match. Kingsley, not a good goal-kicking day yet. Coming back. Oh, grazes the post. He's got 1 goal for. Jade Rawlings sitting at home watching Fox Footy says, Ken, I know how you feel.
Oh, but that's 4 shots from that exact pocket. And you throw Mooney's in as well. If you get half of those, they're only a couple of points down.
It's a real art. This ground, probably more so than many, it's a real art on where you have to go to get your scores from, and certainly it's the far side or the city side of the ground going up that way. If you're going to kick your goals, you've got to run the ball in that area.
Cats still time. Playfair will get the hurry along to Hunt. Will drive it to the hot spot at the top of the square. Carlton with numbers back there. Houlihan paid the mark.
What's he making, Houlihan? Growing as a player.
Stay out, kick.
Had a good half.
Right out.
And they'll be happy to wind it down here, the Blues.
Play on.
And given they trailed this match by as many as 19 points, a 15-point half-time lead will be satisfied. Hume.
You, mate.
Just need to mark that foot in, they do. Prendergast started well. It's going to be a nervous second half for Geelong fans. Carlton fans satisfied. Cats fans, a combination of perhaps frustration and disappointment. They're 15 points adrift. Carlton with potentially an injury worry at half-time. Oh, this is intriguing, isn't it?
Well, it sets up to be a fascinating second half. I think you're absolutely right, Gerard. Geelong have had plenty of opportunities. I mean, the 3 goals, 9 that they've kicked shows that that's exactly the case, but just got to find an avenue to attack, and they haven't got many senior players out in the ground. I think they've got to try to find one of those senior players, and it looks likely that Cameron Ling is the one.
Yeah, look, I think that a couple of their shots that should have been converted go through, we'd have a totally different view. So they're not out of this without any chance, the Cats, but the Blues take a handy lead.
We'll talk more about it after this with Gerard Healy right here on Fox Footy. All right, Tiff, thanks for that. The Blues breaking from a very tight huddle there. They have kicked the last 6 goals of the match after spotting the Cats the opening 3. Geelong leading by as many as 19 points. And we'll wait and see where Cameron Ling will line up. At the moment, he's amongst that group of 6 in the centre to contest the opening bounce. Now, Tanase and Spriggs peel away, so it looks like Ling will be at the coalface with Johnson and Corey to rove to Chambers.
And Scarlett's pushed out to centre-half back, which is interesting. He is picking up Whitnell, which means that Favola has got Tom Harley.
Do you like that better?
Well, I think Scarlett could well go to that half back line. In fact, I think he could do a job for them up forward, although he's just too important for them in defence. I'm not sure why. Maybe they're just looking to expose Lance Whitnell's lack of pace by getting Scarlett to run off.
And Charlie Garden is the player that they've chosen to go deep into the forward line. Just be interesting to see whether he can play that role and kick a couple for them.
Start of the second half. Blues to the right of the screen here on Fox Footy as Scotland is dragged down high by Cameron Ling. As we mentioned earlier, Cameron Ling, the 84th captain in Geelong history today as he deputises for King and Sanderson with all the injuries. Now Norman's peeled up from the defensive zone, takes the Scotland kick, goes to Favola, and Howie just managed to stick the mid up in time to knock it away. Bannister continuing to run with Ling on the right-hand side of your screen. Whitnell will contest the boundary throw in the forward 50 against Chambers. A tall cat, not surprisingly, for Enright, for Ling. Now Rook has some room out of defence, backs himself with a bounce. And is second. Has to kick it out very wide to the wing for Johnson. Under pressure from Hume. The bounce favours the Blue, and he does well to get it out for the former Cat and Clark. Tackled. Wild handball. Hume. Wiggins. Near the boundary line. Camporelli. And we'll have a bounce beneath the Smorgon scoreboard on the outer wing.
Come on, hey, come on.
The Blues bench watching on. Fisher, Prendergast, Johnson and DeLuca, the men down there. James, Morris and Woodcock. Our umpires, Matt Stevick as well. 15 points the margin.
Good tackle, let him up now, that's good.
Just heard from Tiff that Chapman was a little bit sore. You could just tell by the way he went for that ball that he protected his ribs rather than sort of opening himself up to let the handball release.
Chambers palming it down. Camporelli getting it out for Hume to half forward. Morrell had a couple to beat. A bounce would have been a good result for the Blues. It's not. Hunt away. Cats need someone to stand up forward. Mooney might be that man. Knocks it on. Spriggs an opening. Lines it up. Goes for it. Need it. Got it. Spriggs gets Geelong's first since midway in the first quarter.
It was a good goal for the Cats and a well-needed goal. Their ability early in the quarters, they've had the ascendancy early in each of the 3 quarters so far. They've just got to use that and make sure that they put that on the scoreboard. They did a reasonable job of that in the first quarter. With the advantage of the breeze going that way, they've just got to make the most of that. Cameron Mooney is actually giving them a reasonable target at centre-half forward. I think his confidence is up, at least give him a crack.
9 points the margin. French got first hand to it. Corey sharks it. Tenace took time. Camporelli, good tackle. Whitnell. Blues looking for the quick reply. Might get it through Kenner.
That's it, that's fine.
Well, young Tenace in these last 2 possessions just finding out what it's all about. She's
Thanks, Scott.
pretty hot
David,
when
right
you've
out,
got
please.
players around you and you get a possession. It's a lot different than when you're out in space and they're able to run
Right
free.
out, Pete.
And that time he chopped it up, coughed it up, and resulted in this turnover.
22 years of age, Stephen Kenner made his debut last week. Originally out of Mount Gravatt in Queensland, arriving at Carlton via the Team of the Year selection with Box Hill in the VFL. What's his kick like? Well, had the goal umpire going hard to his left, but it's a goal. I reckon Sticks would have been proud of that, Terry Wallace. A helicopter floating punt.
Yeah, we would have seen a few of those down that end of Optus Oval in the past, and look, that's a good result there, and we just sort of see where the ball is coughed up, and a nice tackle by Scotty Camporelli. Just with Lance Whitnell, he creates a lot. He mightn't necessarily end up the game with 5 goals, but just his blocks, his shepherds, his just ability to bring others into the game is so valuable as a forward.
Jordan, go the footy.
That's why you come to the footy, isn't it? Some excitement there for those fans. French gets it down. Chambers trying to do the roving work. Spriggs. Mini Torp out of the pack, effective inside 50. Kingsley charged after it. Wiggins does well for Thornton. Advantage play on it will be Houlihan. Goes long to midfield. Spawn's got the sit at the back of the mark. Now he's got Scotland and Hume out wide. Goes to the former. Scotland closing fast. 60 out. Favola, the target, won't reach him. Hunt drops the mark though. Kenner, Lappin, Camporelli, goal! His second, 2 in a row the Blues, biggest lead of the game.
Well, unfortunately for Geelong, once again it's come at the expense of a mistake. Just a mark where there was 3 Geelong defenders around, and that one just he was probably blindsided a little bit by the player in front of him, and the ball just hit him without having the focus on it right throughout his flight path. But that ball started up in defence where it was in the attacking 50 and then quickly transferred. Goal to the Blues, and well, she's right on the cusp now. Another one to the Blues, and it'll be pretty tough from there.
Who will get the centre clearance? Johnson pushing it forward for Geelong. Teague of Carlton stands his ground, hurries it forward, but there is Chapman.
Let him up, Jimmy, let him up, that's it now, let him go.
Yeah, he's got the mark.
Play on.
To the broadcast wing. Target is Keller.
Hey, play on.
Elects to play on, but sent it behind. Harley made him wait. Goes long to full forward. Mooney getting back. Fist by Norman. Kingsley the roving. Handball in front of Johnson. God, Scotland, good tackle. Held in.
Tackled as soon as he got the ball.
Well, as a coach, Terry, you just no doubt absolutely besotted by 1%ers, and that's why, because if that handball is out in front, a metre out in front, he doesn't have to break stride, that's a goal.
Chambers getting it down. Gardner needs a lucky break. Caught. Campo, good tackle. It's out, he says. Not for long. Another bounce. Geelong attacking, needing something.
Just a distinct lack of system in the Geelong forward structure. They just don't seem to know where each other are going and how to work for each other. I know they've got a lot of senior players out, and that's a reason for it, but they've just got to try to structure up something that looks likely down there.
French and Chambers over the top. Corey. Mooney as well. Houlihan. Camporelli. Thornton. Boundary line. Throw it in. Fair degree of tension at Optus Oval right now. Scroll through some of the numbers for you in the upper left of your screen, but they are even, aren't they? One kick the difference, no hand passes the difference. Boundary throwing, French back near the line, we'll do it all again. 54 plays 33. Carlton, remembering last year, no Victorian side played in Perth and won the next week. Carlton trying to be the first in 2004 and win. Houlihan, French, Camporelli. Blues clear the danger zone. No, not yet. Wiggins, Camporelli, Lappin, fumble, has time. Down the corridor they run. Harpert, Houlihan, good build-up, loose man, Spawn. Goes quickly, will it reach Morrell? No, Rook's got the mark. And elects to play on. Chapman. Will he give it on to Haynes? He does. Haynes, though, has to wait. And now he's under a semblance of pressure. Equal to it. Drives long. Kingsley in front. Thought the spoil was fair. French. Carlton can afford to drop the loose man back now. They're controlling the game. Was that 15? Yes, it was. Camporelli to Harford. Back for the running Campo. Oh, loose man, Whitnall. Turn around, Lance. Play on. Kick a goal. Hand pass for Vola. It's been a while since they've been able to smile like that, the Blues. This one is busted right open now for Vola's got three.
Yeah, the only bloke not smiling is Colo, because he just did a footy.
He kicked it out of the stadium.
Just tremendous running in the middle of the ground, well, virtually from the back line right through the middle of the ground by Scott Camporelli. Again, he's just been a wonderful player for his club.
Vola with three. And now the acid is on the Cats.
For the bounce.
It's a question of just avoiding the blowout. They've just got to get a goal or two just to keep in touch at the three-quarter time mark. Otherwise, the floodgates open.
Johnson to Corey. He's a good finisher. He's 50 out. He hooks it badly on the full.
Good carry, please, mate. Give me 5 minutes. It'll lean out. Let him loose.
4-9 and a couple spray. Not a goal-kicking day for the Cats. Haven't been at this ground often of late. Norman to French. Roving as Kelly finds an opening. Possession number 19 to the hot spot. Norman backed himself. And still. Oh, and the bounce is going their way. Hume to the wing. Morrell pushed underneath it. Again, another break going Carlton's way. Harford to Clark. Oh, good tackle. French for Harford. He's caught. Hunt putting plenty of pressure on. Geelong will win it now. Scarlett a long way up the ground. Centering kick to the centre square is good for Spriggs. He'll go out wide, hoping Mooney will run onto it. Against Norman. Keeps his feet. Bounce again favouring Carlton. Norman handballs to space. Teagan Enright on a collision course. Enright, well, goes for the boundary line.
He's a different player on the forward line, Mooney. He just doesn't look balanced. A lot of the time he's running to space behind, and it wasn't a great kick there, I've got to say, from David Spriggs. It should have been better, but he just looks far better when he's running in a straight line at the footy.
Camporelli, the game's leading ball winner, but the Cats have got a free kick now. Despite French's protestations.
You've got to keep your arms clear. Taking him on the man.
Well, I think this is why Bomber Thompson's got him down here, just because he knows that he's got a work ethic and a competitive nature about him, and with so many players out, that at least if the ball goes in there, he knows he's going to try to compete and hold it in there, which they weren't able to do in the first half. So I think that's the method behind the fact that he's playing down there. I have no doubt Geelong would rather leave him in the back line.
Chapman has a spell. It's 4-10 to 9 goals 6. And if you throw in the 2 out of bounds on the full, Geelong have actually had more kicks at goal than Carlton. Thornton now. Last line of defence. Houlihan. Goes to midfield for Harford, outbodied by Hunt. Roving Clark. Hurried kick forward will be marked by his former teammate Enright. No, drops the mark. French tackles him. Ball squirts to Scarlett. Corey, the 1-2 to Scarlett, about to be mown down. Holding the ball. Norman wants to get it on quickly to centre half forward. French puts the tackle on Haynes. And we'll have a bounce, will we? Umpire letting them play.
Given that there is a match-winning lead on the board, why doesn't Bomber Thompson have an experiment? Put Scarlett to centre-half forward, put Mooney back, and just see how Scarlett goes, because he has got that potential to play as a half-forward, and yet we never get an opportunity to see it.
Otherwise, it's a predictable trend unfolding, isn't it?
You're just going to go to the game's end with a match-losing formula.
Houlihan and centre-half back to his great running mate Lappin on the wing. Bubbles the mark, sprigs the pressure. And like an Oz kick game, they were just happy to have a bounce there.
And on the other hand, Carlton have played reasonably smart in the last couple of minutes, knowing that they've set up a match-winning lead, knowing that they're going to have the breeze in the next quarter. We've had Lance Whitnell quite regularly behind the ball, just clogging up so Geelong can't make a late surge.
They've got a 2-on-1 at the moment because Cameron Ling's trying to get onto Camporelli, but Jordan Bannister's running with him. So Cameron Ling effectively just has got no impact on this match.
Hurried ball by Maloney to Kingsley. Teague under pressure. Did well. Norman, not so. Kingsley doing well. Can he get it on to Mooney? Mooney, can he get the ball? Spriggs, hurried snap at goal. He's sprayed it as well.
No, I'm right, same. If there's another point, I might. Yeah.
So if Camporelli ends up being tagged effectively by Ling, they'll just put Camporelli to the full forward. Therefore, Ling, once again, straight out of business.
Yeah, they really haven't got value out of a bloke who's your captain for the game. He's going to come out of it with good stats, but nothing's going to happen. And Camporelli's a smart player. He'll just push down the ground.
Prendergast, that was a good option following the kick-in. Halfway through the third quarter here on Fox Footy, Carlton's lead, 25 points. Scarlett at the back. Quick hands. Keller. High one. Hit and hope job there. Tenace knocked it down. Lappin tackle. Found a man somehow. Clark puts it out in front of Spawn. They've got support. Camporelli. Spawn. Can he steady? Morell's with him. Goes to ground. Gives it up towards Camporelli. Running onto it. Clark. The former kid. He's his old club. And there might be no coming back from here for Geelong. Oh, he'd enjoy that, wouldn't he? 89 games at the Cats. Now in his second wearing the navy blue. He's kicked his first goal for his adopted club and pushed the lead beyond 5 goals.
Well, what do you know, Jared? The build-up to that had Scott Camporelli virtually playing as a full forward, with Cameron Ling playing as the full-back, spreading the ball out. Just... you could see that happening from 5 minutes ago. That as soon as they went onto each other, that was going to happen.
4 goals to none in the last 12 minutes. Who will lift the Cats here? Can anyone lift them? Playfair's in the middle now with French.
Cameron Ling won't lift them from full-back.
Morell's had a spell with DeLuca back on.
Watch the footy, watch the footy.
Camporelli saying, everyone else, get out of the way. I'm happy to take Cameron down here.
Carlton ball.
And why wouldn't you? I mean, he's got yards and meters on Cameron Ling, so he'll just come like a thief in the night around the back and play that full forward role like Phil Matera.
French has been a presence. His kick, though, is marked by Rook.
Thanks, Matty.
Now Ling's peeled off Camporelli, running to that outer side. Help, though, provided for the veteran Blue, and therefore the option dries up. And that's the easiest decision Matt Stevick will make in his life, holding the ball.
Well, there's some signs of it completely unravelling in the second quarter for Geelong, Terry. And, you know, this is now how far for the Blues. It's a question of limiting the damage, I think, for Geelong. This could blow out to be a 10-goal hiding.
Well, just too much trying to actually go there to Cameron Ling, and it was good play by young Fisher to actually cover off.
Ryan Cook of Geelong, as we watch Playfair come off, said if we lose this match, it will cost us 1,000 members. Therefore, it's a $100,000 game. And right now, they're being taken to the cleaners. Favola for his 4th from 50. They're up in the Heatley stand. It has been 11 goals to 1 since the 18-minute mark of the opening term.
I reckon there was a sense of this happening right from Monday last, Terry. There just wasn't anything positive coming out of the club. I think the only thing that was a win for them was the Matthew Scarlett situation. And, I'm not surprised that this has become the result. Having said that, I did tip Geelong.
Yeah, 11 goals to 1 is as comprehensive as you can possibly get it. And I mean, very good from the Carlton aspect, just to see them really rub it in there.
French growing in confidence. Clark. Can he gather? Tenace with pressure. Good follow-up to Luca. Now Scotland. Growing in confidence, the Blues all. Prendergast. Well, even their poor kick's nearly coming off. In right. Cats on the rebound. They've got space. Gardner's got Ling. Got to do something here. Gardner to the pocket. Kingsley the target. He's got it. Tight angle 45 out.
He's done this bit pretty well today, Ken. Has Kingsley, but he's just got to be able to finish.
And he is not instilling a great deal of faith that he can go back and kick the goal. He's kicked 1-4 today. He passes it to Corey. And if you want a snapshot of their afternoon, there it was right there. We'll have a bounce. Let's check in downstairs with Tiff.
No major concerns with Henry Playfair. Just received a kick to the shin, so they're just icing it up, actually.
Well, all that build-up was pretty average. Gardner could have used Ling, and they could have ran inside, just actually ran the ball in for a shot, and then the option to pass was poor as well.
Still a chance to Geelong here. Thornton gone. Lurking Mooney. Can he break it open? Ling still under pressure. Kelly, 40 out. Hurries it to the goal square. Has it got the carry? It has! James Kelly with something out of nothing. 22 touches for he this afternoon, and they get a badly needed goal.
He's been a pretty good worker, James Kelly. He's got a lot of class. Unfortunately, we're not seeing the best of James Kelly because of the talent deficit in this side at the present time. He just needs to work through this development phase of this club, and I think when he gets into a stronger side, we're going to see a pretty exciting player.
Yeah, just good crash and bash work again then from Cameron Mooney, just to open things up.
In time on now in the third term. French got a hand to it. Kelly nearly had a chance there to get the clearance. Maloney, who was reported in the second term, got it away. Wiggins, Johnson, Lappin, Camporelli, getting plenty of possessions in close there. Long to Favola, one out with Harley, holding on, free kick, Brendan.
Well, it's just been far more direct, Clinton.
Another look from the opposite side of the ground. Harley saying I wasn't holding, I had the arms around him, but I guess the impression you're giving the umpire, if your hands are around him like that, is that you are holding regardless.
It looked like he was holding the media.
I like Favola. I really like him when he stays sort of within that 30-metre range of the goal. He's a darn good kick, but he just looks so dangerous when he's one out very close.
Here's the answer up forward today. Favola has 5.
And it's a beautiful kick, Clinton, and you just... Last year, he probably his accuracy wasn't as good as it could have been. This year, he started off well. And, you know, he is certainly capable of winning a Coleman medal, but he's also capable of leading this club in time back into the power positions on the 8.
Well, there's an air of predictability about just that whole lead-up, wasn't there? The long kick, the deep kick into the forward line, the ability of Favola to stay at home. Even if he doesn't take the mark, as we've seen with Brisbane with Alistair Lynch, it allows blokes to run onto the football in the dangerous area of the ground.
Well, right now they've got 5 players on the goal line, on the square line, I should say, and 1 up forward. So, you know they're going to bomb it long, and everybody just charges onto it like British Bulldog.
Clark to Johnson. High ball, under it. Blues so eager now, we're all going up. To Nace. Ball held in, will have a bounce.
Has British Bulldog survived the passage of time?
I don't think so. The kids in the playground these days don't play it as much because teachers are worried about this litigious age injuries.
So it's not politically correct.
Well, the Bulldogs got offended.
No, the British. Scotland there. Johnson working it out. Hurrying it forward. Bannister. Almost Whitnell, not quite. Still a chance. Harford. Just like the enthusiasm about this Carlton team.
Move it out, that's good.
Here's another chance.
Play on.
Good tackle on Fisher. And we'll have a bounce 30 out from the Carlton goal.
Well, it's fair to say they've got their fair share of beltings over the last couple of years, have the Blues, so just an opportunity to get one back on a turn.
Why not? Why not? I'll be watching the highlights of this match tonight on the Winners from 7:30 here on Fox Footy. Hope you can join me for that. Deep in the attacking zone for the Blues. French getting a hand to it again. Scotland. Johnson going without it. Bartel hurries it out wide to the outer side. Spawn hoping for the line. Tenace. Got to go. Down towards Chapman on the half volley. Just batters it up to the wing. Got it on to Kelly. Dinky little kick in front of Maloney was clever. Now Maloney goes along to the hot spot. Kingsley one out. Has support. Gee, good timely fist by Thornton, wasn't it? Spriggs, did he get in the back? No, fair tackle, will have a bounce.
Look, they're looking for positive, Geelong. Kane Tenace has got to be the top of the list.
I think him and Kelly have been the two that have really shown something today, haven't they?
Groans from the crowd. No whistle for a free kick from umpire Woodcock. Straight into his own player.
Scarlett has gone back on the Favola.
Watch the footy. Coming back, coming back.
Tom Harley just didn't quite match it with him.
Free kick.
The umpire from the centre of the ground spying some activity following that bounce, giving Carlton the free kick. Against Kingsley, Thornton wins out. Caparelli to space on the outer side in front of Link, leading him a merry dance right now. Whitnell and Harley boundary throwing. Stop the clock with 3:10 to play.
If you're not going to use Matthew Scarlett in an offensive way, he's got to be your full back as much as possible. I thought last week against St Kilda they took him off Fraser Gehrig after a couple of goals as well, and they looked worse when he wasn't there.
Right now, the Cats' cumulative total down 98 points on the 2 games. Tenace to half forward, wide of McCarthy and Gardner, and a boundary throw-in will result.
I mean, it's a tough job that Bomber Thompson has at the moment. He's playing with a magnetic ball with about 7 magnets missing. And so every time he throws the list around, he comes up short. He knew that coming in, no doubt. But I guess it's the question to ask is he getting the best out of the magnets that are on the fridge door at the moment?
David Teague making his way off. He was bloodbend against the Dockers in Perth last week and now will reacquaint himself with the trainers here. Carlton will get plenty of positive press this week if this holds up. Mind you, 6 goals can be made up, but the way the Cats are playing, unlikely.
Well, they've wiped out what happened to them last week, really, haven't they? So they're almost in a start-again position.
I think they're probably 4 points up because there's going to be few sides travel to Subi and get the 4 points. So they just got that one out of the way.
And if the trend continues of last year of losing the following week, this is a bonus.
So it's an 8-point game.
It's an 8-point game.
She says positives everywhere.
Just in a holding pattern this game at the moment. The Cats unable to do any damage on the scoreboard. They're inside. They're attacking 50 here, though. Carlton, though, win it comprehensively through Houlihan. He's been good. Kicks to the wing. Mooney on the second effort. Now Harley. Only 2 players in Carlton's attacking half of the ground. Blues will ride in numbers. Gardner at the back against Fisher. Rides the bump. Needs support. Spriggs the man. Nice little shimmy. Goes for it. Misses again, David Spriggs. Another one out on the full from the Cats.
One thing Carlton are doing particularly well is dropping 2 or 3 extras back to that beyond the end of that long kick into the forward line.
Clark as we head our way towards 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
There's a touch of Pagan's paddock about it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Towards the wing, Prendergast. Spawn will run onto it. Tenace closing. Good jewel. Favola. Johnson, the former Hawk. Bartel to spoil. And goes wide near the boundary line and forces a throw in. 78 plays 41. Geelong led this match by 19 points. Since then, they've kicked 2 goals. Carlton have kicked 12.
Watch the footy.
Geelong's most experienced players today with 92 games apiece. They needed a veteran out there to lift. They didn't have one. Scotland from 55. Goes long. Whitnell in front. At the back, Kelly. Will he concede a behind? Not yet. Looks upfield. Blues rushing back. Spriggs the target at centre half back. Goes to McCarthy. On the bounce, it eludes him. Norman. Caught. Had support. French. Houlihan. Some good names today. Chapman did well. Boundary throwing.
James Bartel now in a tagging role on Brett Johnson. Probably reflects where they're at the moment, because James Bartel is highly regarded. Brett Johnson's a player that's come across trying to start his career. Both have only had 9 possessions. But I think Bomber Thompson, out of frustration, has probably sent the message out, man apiece, everyone just lock down on your man and make it a contest.
Mooney from the free kick to Ling. Need a mark late in the term. Kingsley or McCarthy. Where are the Crummers up forward? Kelly trying to do his bit and more. A bounce. There's still time.
Well, we'll just see how this next ruck drill goes. Barnaby French giving away that last free kick. It's about the first mistake he's made for the game. He's been very good in the ruck today, just giving his midfielders first use of the ball all game.
Down to half a minute. Can they get one here? Chapman, Johnson going without it. They don't need a bounce because the clock will keep running. Down to 20 seconds now. 37 points adrift. Might have time for a hit out and a hurried shot at goal. 10 seconds. McCarthy knocks it forward. Blues will get their first Whitnell. Happy for it to rush over with 5 seconds to go.
He's smart, the big fella. The centre half forward just down there blocking it up.
Late change from Carlton.
Wiggins, you've got to watch the footy.
You heard the call, Wiggins. You've got to watch the footy. He's having a go at Kelly right now. Oh, free kick. They've sucked them in.
Stay there. Stay there.
Camporelli will take it. He'll clear the danger zone, and Carlton fans will applaud.
Let him up now.
Carlton had 6 scoring shots that quarter. They kicked 6 goals. The Cats had 4, kicked 2-2 and sprayed another 2 shots at goal out of bounds. And at 3-quarter time, the temperature, the Bunsen burner in the Geelong coaching box on the seat of Mark Bomber Thompson is rising rapidly because Carlton lead by 37 points, Terry.
Yeah, well, it is, but sometimes it can be a very difficult game, can't it, as a coach? I mean, you don't like to mention that you've got players out, and I know Geelong did mention that during the week, Jared, but it's a difficult situation. We're talking about historical, not since 1963 have they been missing so much experience in their lineup, and it's just shown as the game's worn on.
Yeah, there's just not enough talent in this Geelong side, but that's not going to be of any concern to Blues supporters who are going to lap up the victory if they get across the line.
They lead by 37 points. Final term next on Fox Footy.
I think what else would help is if the attacks came through the corridor instead of being really wide. they just seem to always be on the wings and trying to bring the ball back, and therefore Kingsley is often running out super wide.
Well, the Spruik are getting on the public address to get this Optus Oval crowd up.
Footy, guys, got the footy coming back here, guys.
Are they just half an hour away from what in recent times have been few and far between victories? Or can the Cats come back? Surely. If they've got pride in the jumper, they'll lift. Johnson with the clearing kick to start. Harley dragged down, sends it out wide. Momentum is with the Blues. Scotland across the afternoon, terrific. Good kick. Morrell. Whitnell wants it long. Morrell goes to him. Whitnell waiting. Murphy!
Well, it was just too planned. Digby Morrell would know what Dennis Bacon wants, and he didn't go away from it by 1 centimetre. He just kicked it to the top. There's Big Red, and smart enough to push out his opponent, not give away a free kick, and ended up with a great mark.
I guess Geelong fans asking, when does the hold-off become a push?
No, look, I didn't think there was enough in it. I thought he had just held his ground. 3 big blokes down there have actually worked pretty well all game together. Just shows for the young people at home, just keeping your eyes on the football no matter who's around you.
This for the perfect final quarter start for the Blues. All clear indeed. All systems go for Carlton. 43 points their lead. Whitnell has now kicked 2.
Jared, they just look more potent when Lance Whitnell's playing in the forward end alongside those other 2 players. I just think that it just gives them a bit more balance. It'll be interesting to see when Anthony Koutafidis comes back in. Does he go into the midfield or does he go to centre-half back?
I think centre-half back's his role for the rest of his career. I don't think he's ever got the confidence back in his knee since his reconstruction. I think he's just going to become a better player quicker if he's running in those straight lines.
Back in the centre with French getting a hand to it. Corey is tied up. Carlton fans, you can have your say on who you think should be playing up forward on White Line Fever tomorrow night. Josh Fraser and Wayne Schwass will join me. You can give us a call or fax, email or SMS. Have your say on the AFL.
It's getting to the critical stage now, though, for Geelong. I mean, it's only round 2, but their season could be gone by round 6 if they can't get some players back and find a better avenue to goal.
They're in Sydney playing the Swans next week, then Richmond, and then a trip to Perth.
So it's ugly.
Got the mark.
Right now it's ugly.
It is.
They've got to pinch a win from somewhere.
Chapman will line up to try and negate the early Whitnell goal.
And that's what we've liked to see, where we saw Caporeale early in the game coming out of full forward. Chapman is a player who can genuinely do that as well because he's got good leading skills, but he's a very good finisher.
Well, it's not funny.
It would seem a millennium time ago that this side was playing off in a Wizard Cup Grand Final and we were spruiking at the talent levels.
Lappin. Well, they had a terrific pre-season, didn't they? Suddenly it's gone pear-shaped in a hurry. Norman. Work it out. Thornton. Hildehang. Spriggs goes too far. Good pick-up. Wonderful work, Houlihan. Backed himself to the hill and then finds Morrell. Kenner. Deep to the hot spot. Favola. Free kick. Scarlett's one.
Saw his jumper come out like that, Brendan. It's just there, mate.
Good umpiring. Brendan's amused. Digby Morrell, though, Terry, he's done a very good job for the Blues. He's just slotted into that half forward as another marking option.
Well, when you look, they've had 30 possessions, 16 marks and 7 goals. They're 3 big men. I mean, they've done a fantastic job today.
Kenner did well. Got it to Harford. Favola.
We just can't stop that. If you've got an athletic full forward and you've got good disposal coming in, no full back is going to be able to prevent you from getting a shot.
Another look. Yep.
1 metre. The full forward's always got the starter's gun in his hand. He knows when he's about to burst. You're always going to get a metre on, particularly in this day where the umpires are really officious, as they should be, on the holding and the grappling.
very pleasing to see this player's development over the last couple of years.
It's exciting, and it's good for the Blues and good for football, to use a very worn cliche.
He's kicked 8 goals, 4 for the season. 45 out. Well, much like the form of Richmond and Melbourne, you can't pick it, can you?
Trent, back a metre,
I guess
please.
if you're going to miss everything like that.
Play on.
Johnson. Wide to the outer side for Mooney. Cats half Carlton score. Maloney. Neat little pick-up. Good pass. Kingsley long way down the ground. Maloney kept on running. Drives it inside 50. Wonderful kick and well read by McCarthy. Directly in front, 30 metres out.
Just back a metre, please. Just back here with me.
They've actually given themselves a little bit of space to work from out of the forward line. They've got 3 players now right back on the goal line.
Straight back there.
30 or 40 metres
Okay, guys, you're
inside the
okay.
forward 50 for those players to run into. That's how they used it that time.
He was Geelong's best first-year player last year, Matthew McCarthy.
1 metre.
Another more senior player to make his debut. He's 22 now in his second year. Oh. Well, if you're a Geelong supporter and you're watching this match on replay on Fox Footy now, why? This is almost ridiculous, Terry.
Yeah, very poor. And Matthew McCarthy, if you are a Geelong supporter, you know that's the area of his game that he just has to continue to work on.
No, I'm sure you're watching for good reason, Cats fans. Stick with the team. They are a young list, as we know, and they've got some work to do. Let's see if they can fight back here from a 41-point deficit. Teague's got it, defensive side of the wing. He floats a kick awkwardly towards French. To Kenner. Can he get it to Morrell or go himself? He'll go to Scotland. He's still got Morrell running forward. Drops the footy. Not pretty at the moment. Gets by Lee. Hooks onto the right. High kick to the goal square. Spriggs drops it. Houlihan caught. Still a hot footy. Haynes concedes a behind.
Well, I think Kenneth's just guaranteed he gets a mention on Dennis Pagan's negatives tape, because he went for the magnificent balk and flare rather than just going ping straight on for Vola's chest. I guess he's justified to have a shot at goal occasionally. He's small enough to be a hungry forward pocket.
Long ball to Harley on the wing. Good hands. Takes the mark in front of French.
Tough for a bloke of his size to actually be able to break through the tackle also, isn't it?
Harley to Bartel. Goes towards half forward. Good hands, Chapman. Kingsley. Carlton have got a loose man back in defence, and Teague takes the mark.
Geez, they're doing that really well there, Carlton. Just not super experienced players. Teague's been around long enough, though, just to drop back, read the play, and flood back.
Teague and Wigan sharing headwear and the footy at the moment. Bannister. The margin 7 goals. Well, some of us tipping a Carlton victory today, but I certainly don't think we thought it was going to be by this much. Camporelli on half-back. Possession number 26. Cameron Ling, meanwhile, stagnant on 14.
You'd say Jordan Bannister's got the result that he would have been looking for. Not that he's had any influence on the game, but just been able to restrict Ling again.
This guy's been all right as well. Norman, possession number 16 towards half-forward. Whitnell pushed off Harley illegally. Now Ling's going to get a possession on the wing. Who will lift Geelong here? Try and finish the game with some runabout. Haynes taken over by Thornton for a boundary throw-out. Speculation at Gardenia Park, and the scrutiny will be intense this week.
Straight the footy, guys.
Ahead of their match against the Swans. This is McCarthy.
This with the handball.
Holding the ball.
Looking at the injury list, Clinton, who would be available? Would Sanderson be back? I know he had a calf strain, so there's probably one player that may be a chance. I doubt whether Graham would get back because he looked like he had a ruptured pec muscle. There's not a lot to come back that's going to make a massive difference structurally. Maybe a little bit of experience.
And this Blues team will add Nick Stevens next week. Scotland on the run from 40 for another one. No. It was close. The Blues at the MCG on Saturday to play the Kangaroos. 13-8 to 5-13. A dream homecoming for Carlton. And for these 9 new players at Optus Oval this year, well, they're fast loving this ground. Haynes puts it in front of Rowley. Bounce was kind. Rowley gives it back to him on the full. Stagnant Cats today.
I guess the only thing missing, Terry, has been that avalanche of goals in this last quarter from the Blues. And maybe there's 2 reasons. Geelong have just tightened up and gone man on man. But secondly, the Blues did come back from Subiaco last week. And that trip, I think history has showed, can be draining if you let it get into your mindset.
Blues now through Lappin on half-back, centering kick, not a good one, although Corey overruns it. Scotland now will pick it up. Blues an open forward line. Scotland has Favola leading, goes to him. Favola in front. Was he pushed? Yes. Favola has now been involved in 8 free kicks today. He's won 4 and given 4 away.
I suppose evened up the ledger, but yeah, just to answer yours, Gerard, I think they've had the opportunities this quarter to probably put another 2 or 3 goals out. Favola missed one earlier in the quarter. Scotland with an opportunity. I think that's the one thing that Dennis would like to see, just nailing a couple of these chances late to finish off the work.
Brendan for number 6. Holds up, won't be a score. Off hands, behind. In fact, no, it's hit the behind post. We'll have a boundary throw-in.
Hit the post, guys.
Good break for the Blues. 43 points in front. Fans talking percentage now. Hasn't happened often. DeLuca winning it down. Harley scrubbing old kick into space. Running onto it, Spriggs. Good pickup. Releases it wide for Ling. Runs to the wing. Steadies. Kicks to a one-on-one at half forward. McCarthy's in front of Thornton. Thornton's done disciplined things down back today. Gets it to Norman. Good vision to midfield. And a mark taken by DeLuca to Scotland. Might go himself, goes wide. Whitnall couldn't take it. Has support. Harford running with him. Whitnall over the top. Harford goes without it. In right to mop up for the Cats.
You can just see this intelligence of Whitnall there. He knew where Harford was running, even before Harford knew where he was running.
Hunt in the back pocket. Only been 1 goal in this final term, nearly 13 minutes gone. Came from Lance Whitnall.
Daniel's legs might have got him there in the first quarter, but in the fourth quarter it was a bit tough.
Here's Scarlett on half-back. 86 plays, 43. Spriggs on the wing. Our digital sports active viewers, you can stay with us after the game and hear the press conferences in full, live and exclusive on Fox Footy, and Mark Thompson's one will be interesting. Maloney to the forward pocket. Teague the spoil on Chapman. Kelly overruns it. Camporelli is back there in the shadows, has time to pause. Decline the offer of a drink from the supporters in the front row. That'll come later. DeLuca has Hume on in space. Will run onto it. Gathers. Favola leads to the pocket. Kick not good for him. Favola good pickup. Back for Hume. Back for Favola. Goes to the goal square. Chance here, and well, they can ref on it. They spoil it. Ling. Over the top. Rowling. Down the line to Haynes on half-back. And he takes the mark.
Stay there.
Players getting some possession now, but it's not exactly pretty. Johnson to Camporelli. For Blues fans, it's delightful regardless. Camporelli. Well, is someone going to put a body on Campo? No, so he goes for home. And great goal! Exclamation point. His third, capping a wonderful afternoon for the home team.
Well, I just think he sensed, Terry, that nobody was really interested in a genuine chase and tackle. He's looking around. There wasn't a hell of a lot of people putting their hand up, and some of the defensive efforts there by the Cats were quarter pace at best.
Well, we've got a massive result already, but one just wonders whether the floodgate's going to open in the next 10 minutes. Just the body language on some of the Geelong players there was just not what their coach would expect.
Campo with 3, Favola with 5. We'll keep a camera on the Favola-Scarlett matchup for you for our Sports Active viewers for the next moment or so as the Cats get the centre clearance. Wiggins in front, Corey the pressure. Ling will get there first, getting a bit of it in the last term. Bannister's worn him well and wins the ball for Carlton.
Cameron Ling can only do what he needs to do, and that's just keep working hard. But where he's won the ball has been virtually in the back end of the ground, Jerry, where he can't really do any damage to the opposition.
Yeah, I've watched him pretty closely today, and Bannister's got inside his head, and he spent a long time, Cameron, just in plotting mode. He's just kept doing the miles, hoping that it was going to turn for him. But damage done, not a lot.
Long ball to a contest on the wing. Play fair. Back from whence it came. Carlton the numbers. This is T. Caught. Backing himself to break through Hume. Didn't enough. Camporelli, Clark, Lappin. Foot race. It's like a bat. Deep to full forward. Ken Kingsley back there. Now Howell. Stuttering approach, goes short. Rowley. Closing his Kenner. Rowley, perhaps hearing his slight footsteps, kick quickly. Scotland takes the mark. Now Wiggins has Norman on. Now Norman's got Houlihan. Can he get it to him? Might go a little longer to Favola coming out. Up ends in right. Favola on loose men everywhere for Carlton inside 50. Can Favola get it to some of them? No, he can't. Good pressure, Geelong. Spawn, too eager there. Saw those loose men. Enright dives on it. Well, Geelong well done. Saved the goal there. And the umpire lets them play and they'll clear it out. Hunt to the outer wing, Wiggins.
That's it!
Inside of 7 minutes. Rowley goes to ground. Norman, formerly of Wangaratta, good pickup. Camporelli, a field day now. Long to the goal square. Might bounce through. Campo for another one! Oh, it's got to be their best day for several years, doesn't it? Campo's kicked forward from midfield. Dennis refusing to smile yet. I reckon he's got it though.
Well, yeah, I think he's comfortably home, and for Scott Camporelli, he'd be just rattling out the last 5 minutes has gone about the football. But look, if he wasn't best on the ground before, which I think everyone would have thought he was, certainly the last 2 goals just had the crowd rise to their feet, and just giving these Carlton supporters something to finish the game with on a happy note.
Okay, you're right, mate.
31 possessions, 5 entries inside 50, 4 rebounds out of 50, so he's covered some ground, 4 goals. They're getting excited in the Heatley stand.
So they should. They're just special goals, aren't they? They're just rare goals when the guy gets it on centre wing and turns 2 runs into big goals. Bradley did it for a decade here. Camporelli's been doing it for some time. And, well, to do it at the end of your career is even more important. He's doing it particularly well.
31 touches, Scotland 28.
Right round him.
Going to be a big night in Carlton tonight. I'd go out with a Carlton player though, you'd be guaranteed to be safe.
They've had a couple of big nights in recent days actually, Clinton.
All fun tonight. Tenace towards the wing. Oh, well done Norman. Again. Harford. Getting it on for Hugh. Clark, look out, oh, quick hands. Norman, well done. Out in front of Harford. Oh, some excitement about them here. Not a good kick for Favola. A little careless and sloppy though was Bartel. Maybe the sun was in his eyes. We'll give him an excuse. Scarlett towards Maloney.
Back here.
Geelong with 2 behinds in this final quarter. Since the 18-minute mark of the opening term, Geelong have kicked 2 goals. against a team that's won 7 games in 2 years. There's some holding there. That's a Carlton free.
Don't do away with it.
And 50 for mouthing off.
Well, it's just unravelling here for Geelong. I mean, you know, the statistics of the game haven't been good, but you've just got to keep your disciplines there, especially the senior players in the group. They've got so many young players running around. Just the disciplines have got to be kept.
Another look at the contact. That's the aftermath there. We'll keep an eye on Scott Camporelli on Sports Active for our digital viewers for the next few moments to see if he can kick goal number 5. It's all exclusive here on Fox Footy. Haynes towards centre half forward. Mooney, he's an angry young man right now. Can he kick the goal? Pops it up to the square, running onto it, Kingsley. I won't mark it in the footy record yet. He's going to play on, and they get a goal through Spriggs. Oh, that's so fraught with danger, Terry, isn't it? He's 15 metres out, elects to handball.
You just wonder whether he trusted himself. He missed a couple early in the game and tried to make a guarantee of it. I just like key forwards to go back and actually kick their goal, because for every one you get like that, you probably lose one as well. So I just don't know whether the percentages are there, but the goal stands.
And Spriggs getting it just in time. Much to the chagrin of the Carlton cheer squad, momentarily halting their celebration. Spriggs has kicked a couple in this second half.
Tom on Stevo, last 10.
DeLuca. Oh, spinning through traffic was impressive. Kelly. He was pinged though for holding the ball. Camporelli advantage play on. Long one to the 50. Harley and Bartel can raffle it.
Still me.
Bartel's been very good in that last line of defence in the last 10 minutes. Maybe it's something for them to consider. Maybe not as a permanent defender, but certainly working from centre back.
Camporelli just ringing that wrist. Harley now on the wing. Kelly, who was so prominent early, that was his first touch for this quarter. As Harley goes wide, play fair.
Spent a fair bit of time in the goal squares. Yeah. Hasn't got down there too often, unfortunately, for Cats.
That's fine. You can even go forward about a metre if you want.
Margin 49 points. Play fair. Asking for some support. Into the shadow of the Harris stand, Lappin. They like that in the social club.
He's had another good game.
Yep.
So is this man.
Yeah, been a good dynamic duo down back, haven't they? This guy's been all right as well. Scotland away. To the attacking side of the middle. Bit of a wrestle. No whistle. Prendergast still going against 2 Cats. Just wanted it more. We'll have a bounce. 1% at take for Dennis Pagan, filling rapidly. 3 minutes remaining on an eminently forgettable afternoon for Geelong. Playfair winning it down. This is DeLuca just avoiding damage. Hume, good centering ball. Clark. Oh, look at them queuing up. He's got Wiggins, he's got Harford. Harford shepherds, and that's an illegal shepherd from Harford. He was outside of 5 metres. Umpire Darren Morris with the decision. Chapman will take the free. Daniel remaining unconvinced.
And wasting his breath trying to argue.
Playfair getting some possessions late. Harley currently wobbly to half forward. Spriggs for his 3rd goal of the second half.
Just had to handle that over the top. No point putting the hand up now. It had to go over the top.
Well, it's exactly the opposite to the other ones we talk about, where you've actually drawn the man, you're running with the ball. All the pressure's on you because the defensive man's coming to you. You've just pop it over the top and make it a certain goal.
Cats 6 goals, 14. New forward coach this year, Ken Hinkley, with some material to work with this week. Norman for Houlihan. Wide into the back pocket, and Hume's got it. They'd like to break the tough. Houlihan. 2 minutes left.
Stay there.
Taking some time to think about it. Suck in some breath.
You, mate.
Keeping it along the boundary for Prendergast.
Just there it is. That's the mark.
Remembering the Blues next week with the Kangaroos at the MCG. The Cats heading to Sydney to play the Swans. And if you can have a must-win game in April, that is certainly it.
Just there it is, that's fine.
DeLuca pops it up. Favola. Can he get another one? Good duel with Scarlett. Scarlett wins out. Favola with a flair for the dramatic there, but it was already over for a boundary throw-in.
A little bit of deja vu for Cats fans. I mean, they had a pretty good summer last year and lost about the first 5 games, I think.
Yeah, it was a horrible start to the season, wasn't it? Winning just one of the first 8 on their way to a, well, disappointing season. Where they finished 12th on the ladder. Minute to go as Johnson runs through midfield. Kicks into the shadows at half forward, hoping Gardner will run onto it, but Thornton charging out. Is there time for one more? He's got a loose man on the wing, Prendergast. He takes the mark and can play on. 2 kicks out from goal, closing rapidly, kicking long. Lappin getting back, Lappin! And I'll tell you what, he deserves a goal. Had a terrific afternoon. 20 touches, 4 marks, and now a deserving goal for the former Saint. And he'll take Carlton past the century mark.
He was never going to drop it, Jared. Opportunity to get down there and have a chance to kick a goal. He's going to make the most of it.
It's been a great day for him, Matthew Lappin. He's worked in defence through the middle and pushed forward, as we see here, to get his shot at goal.
The rout continues. 104 plays 50. Even the defenders queuing up forward now.
We know that Brian Cook spoke about membership at the start of the match to Tiff Cherry, saying that this could cost them dearly. But so too, Terry, the fact that they don't play a home game until round 6. Got the renovations going on down there at their home ground. And it also means that you can't have that massive advantage of just having that home ground. And that may be what gets them over the line and for their first victory this season.
Won't be at skill till round 6. Kelly the handball to Chapman.
Okay.
Hurries it to half forward. Oh, well trapped, David Teague. Played it well and then cops a high one.
Be careful, he's got his head down over the ball, guys.
Johnson charging through. Time winding down, and for Carlton fans, well, this is a moment for them to savour.
Move right away.
Song, and we love this man when he's on fire. Best on ground without a doubt. Campos with Tiff.
Well, Scott, you haven't won a game since round 12 last year. How good does that feel?
Oh, look, it's fantastic. You know, we had a tough week last week over in Perth, and we really wanted to come back and, first time game back. You know, we've got a few things to prove, and we just wanted to, improve this week and be competitive, and, we did that today. It's fantastic.
Well, good signs there. No team was able to back that Perth trip up last week, and you guys have done it.
Yeah, no, we planned pretty well this week, had a reasonably light week early, and, our fitness is good. We've had a good solid pre-season, so we're just glad that, all the fans came out today and had a good win.
And personally for you, you kicked more than or nearly a quarter of your goals tally last year.
Yeah, well, it's nice to get amongst it again. So, it's great. The boys are all working really well now, and I can get up forward and hopefully kick a few goals now.
Good to see a smile on your face. Well done, Campo. Yeah, so just to let you guys know, that report it has been confirmed for striking. So, report there for Geelong on Maloney.
Okay, in the second term of the 9-minute mark on Clark. Look at that. That's a great sight. Haven't had a lot to cheer about, as we know, in recent times. They're preaching patience here at Optus Oval, but on days like these, Jared, you can see that, well, there could be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, there's a big light coming up next Thursday night when they announce the team split, because Nick Stevens' name is going to be amongst them. Pretty handy player to come into a winning side, Terry.
Oh, look, he's certainly going to be a great acquisition for the football club, and probably their best recruit over the summer. So to get him back into this lineup will do them a lot of good. Just the confidence that gives a group that are just trying to blend together at the moment is very, very good for the whole club.
David Clark will be a pretty pleased player at the present time. Kicked a goal, an important goal that buried the Cats' final chances. They had just under 20 possessions. A bloke that's worked really hard on his skills, and good on him, because he came in to league footy with an efficiency in that area. It's not top class yet, but it's certainly efficient and good enough.
In Heath, Scotland, certainly, as you mentioned during the course of the game, looks like being a really good midfielder for them.
And this quashes the bogey of the Perth trip as well, doesn't it? Last year, no Melbourne-based team winning the week after playing at Subiaco. Didn't affect Carlton today, winning by 4 points. Yes, Hula can. So can Fev. They're all excited and good to see. And the Carlton players acknowledging their supporters. 16-8 to 6-14 the final score. Favola with 5 goals. Camperelli with 4 and Whitnell 2 the multiples. Only David Spriggs with 2 kicked more than 1 for Geelong. Look at this. What a great response.
Yeah, it is terrific for the club. This is a club that was on its knees 12 months ago, 18 months ago. And the supporters have had to wear it. And I think they've worn it pretty well, Terry. They've stuck thick. More memberships last year than any previous year. They've had a record. They really got behind Ian Collins and the Dennis Pagan regime, and they're getting some reward here at home today.
Yeah, and I think that's the other factor. It is at home, and this place, Optus Oval or Princes Park, as it used to be known, used to be a real bastion for the Carlton Footy Club, and they never used to lose many games here at all. That's what they've got to try to get back into the system. I think that's almost the first step forward.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here it is. Enjoy this, Carlton fans.